Welcome to Threatsafe. This is our podcast to help SMEs and SMBs and the people who manage IT within those businesses or responsible for IT to get the very best from the technology that they deploy and then also to manage their cyber security. Let's listen to this week's podcast. Hello everybody, welcome to Threatsafe episode 11. I'm Martin Roberts and I'm here with
Toby Stevenson, Chief Technology Officer.
Hi Toby. Toby, it's been Cyber Security Awareness Month. A good one, do you think?
Yeah, I think it has. It seems to have gone by really quickly. But I'd like to think that there's been lots of good content and learning we've been able to share. And hopefully our listeners have picked up some good bits and feel are a little bit more informed than at the start of the month.
Yeah, we put together some videos, one for every day of the month on threatsafe.co.uk. And they're very informative, actually. And of course, the last time we talked about a new acronym, which I won't go back to at this moment in time. Anything else that's popped up in the last week for you, Toby, which has stood out as a beacon of things we ought to learn about this month?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are plenty of ongoing things and some keep coming back. AI continues to make the news. There's some stuff going on with that and concerns and how that's going to not only save the world, but also destroy the world. So this kind of that half full, half empty view on the world.
Now, the AI and Deepfake, there's this idea with or the feeling this is way ahead in the future. And so way ahead in our terms is probably 3 or 4 years, 5 years time. That'll really become ubiquitous in terms of the threat it is to us. I mean, we've talked about AI on its own, giving the criminals the ability to trawl lots of information very quickly and condense it. I mean, I don't know about you, Toby, but I've been starting to get these summaries on various pages. So if you go to TripAdvisor as an example, the point is I never book a hotel or anywhere to stay because I start looking at the reviews. Actually, to be fair, my wife does, and she always finds the bad ones. And but we trawl through 20, 30, and then we decide to give up. What TripAdvisor now does is you're using AI to summarize the good and the bad, and it's quite interesting actually. And that's the power of that is quite surprising. But of course, criminals will use the same stuff to go and find something about you, me, or the other people that they may be targeting, or companies that they may be targeting.
It is a really great way to speed up any kind of research that you're doing. So you say you've done research for holidays and things, and you use that as part of that process. But anyone who's doing data gathering on organisation or individual can use the same kinds of tools, because what they do really well is they pull from lots of different sources and summarise mostly in a fairly accurate way. And I can see that is going to be something that is going to be, we know it's already being used to the moment in terms of profiling and just kind of speeding up that attack cycle.
And then I suppose the next step is there's AI and then this thing about deepfake. I mean, one of the things with deepfake in theory is that they can produce look-alike videos and voices and such like. And they can do this very quickly by scraping the internet, finding maybe a video of someone, getting a clip of that, and their voice, and then turn it into a realistic looking avatar, or what do you call it?
Yeah, I think it's probably more than just a little bit of a possibility, for being really honest.
I think it's probably more than just a little bit of a possibility, if I'm being really honest.
Right, because
because that's what we just have been doing.
Yeah. It's quite frightening, this, because our producer has done a great job here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He has, and go and see the credits, guys. But this software that's been used to create this is less than £30 a month, and somebody with, and I mean this in the greatest respect, somebody without necessarily relevant experience or a deep understanding of technology is being able to put this together, and it's pretty damn good, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And where it's going is that sometime soon, and where it's going to hit us first is we've had that scam, which is happening frequently, where somebody's calling the LinkedIn and looking for new starters, and they send a random email saying, "Hey, are you there? Can you go and buy me the Amazon vouchers, please?" And they want to please the boss or whatever. Soon they're going to get a Teams message from somebody who looks like the person that interviewed them or the boss that they know or met very briefly, and it's actually going to be deepfake.
Yeah, and you can see how little take over several channels. So you start off with a message.
Yeah.
You may show some reticence or reluctance. They'll say, "Oh, I'm going to ring you."
Yes.
And of course, that suddenly escalated the situation.
Yeah.
Suddenly you were nervous about doing it, but thought, well, it doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
Then the boss man says they're going to ring.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it puts you right on the back foot. So it'll be used in some quite scary ways. I think the limit will be the imagination of the attacker.
And I think the point being is that this is not far away. And there's probably two ways to deal with this. I think, and one is look to. We're now let's talk about the old world where you look at URLs and you look at spelling on emails and you look at all those things. Yeah, we're going to have to find what the key points are to look for in a call, Zoom call, Teams call, or whatever, with someone who we don't really know. What are the things? So, for instance, and I'm not sure it works. If you were talking to me, if I suddenly appeared saying, "Hey, could you do this?" Whatever, yeah, maybe my avatar and my deepfake avatar will be more articulate than I am.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always things like, I mean, you've seen some of the videos where there's people that look overly athletic in what they're doing. And that kind of gives it away. But I can see almost like a whole ecosystem of security tools coming out that are designed to identify fake videos, and maybe they give you a green border when it's legit and a red border. Maybe they can pick up some artifacts that the human eye can't see, but programmatically they exist.
I think we might have a business idea.
Yeah, we'll just stop now.
Okay, yeah, it's been lovely, folks. Thank you. So don't think for one moment that this is that far away.
No, absolutely not. No, and what we've seen today is something that you have to pre-stage.
Yes,
but we're not far away from it being real time.
Yeah.
Stuff. We already see real time text translation. So almost like that universal translator from Star Trek. Someone speaks into your phone in one language and it repeats it out in your native language, so you can have those communications. And that's just an initial example of how real time AI can be used to influence the world around you. And real time video AI, deepfake AI stuff will almost certainly follow.
It's only vaguely terrifying. Actually, it's very terrifying. But it's coming our way. We'll need to watch out for them and look for the signs. There is, as always, people are catching up, and governments and law enforcement catches up. There's a UK AI regulation bill coming to Parliament, which is based taking a lot of stuff and works very closely with the EU artificial intelligence legislation. So it will always be catch up. It will always be catch up.
Yeah, I mean, this technology is accelerating exponentially, and legislation is never very fast at keeping up with technology. And this is an area where it's going to certainly be outpaced. So, it's going to be tricky times for those legislators and those governments to bring laws out to help protect people.
Okay, so I hope we're not talking to anybody right now who will be one of the first victims of this in the UK or whatever. And if you happen to have any, do let us know, but very privately, I'm sure, because we need to understand as soon as possible what the typical sort of attack, because the sooner we let other people know, the better. Okay, so we're now at the last day of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. How do we think next year will differ from this one? What will have? How have things moved on in 1 year? Do you reckon?
I think there will be more, like the things we spoke about. I think that deep fake, whether it be audio or video, will play a bigger part in attacks. I think that attackers will continue to be inventive and find out ways of evading what we consider to be good protection technologies that we enjoy and deploy today. and it's just going to be more of the same. One of my personal concerns around the adoption of AI and the way that companies adopt it is that attackers will be actively targeting that AI so that it can then find out where all the juicy stuff is. And how to get that. So it means that they're so much faster. So, we know that these tools that you can buy will plug into your email systems and your file storage systems. They index all of that stuff. If the bad guys can get into that, they can quite easily find all the juicy stuff much quicker than they would do organically.
Okay, I guess, and this is the problem is it's the danger goes into scaremongering, but I guess what we need to be seeing or working on now is a baseline for just today, because if you were sitting here today with the latest tool sets, the latest things to protect you, and doing the right thing now, and depends on the business, depends on the risk, it depends on all the things that happen to you, then actually when those threats come along, the vendors in a lot of cases are acting on it already and working on it, and in a lot of cases will release stuff as soon as they become aware of a threat. Yes, and often that threat is happening in the background, it's not publicized, and then suddenly we'll get an upgrade or
that covers off something, and we didn't really know it was a thing, but actually we've now got that protection.
Now those people who are at a good baseline, today's good, will be better protected and won't have so far to travel and actually so much to spend as those people who are behind the loop, who are standing back a little bit and waiting for it to get worse or waiting to make that investment. The problem is with that is that the take on of a new system to protect you is actually much more difficult to do than it is updating a current one.
Definitely. Yeah.
So if you what I would recommend any business to do, and we've always said this videocast is about helping people who are responsible for IT but don't necessarily execute IT. So you're a CEO, CFO, you might be an IT manager, but you start thinking about budgeting now, finding out what your risk appetite is within the business, and start spending the money now, or be ready to spend the money, because doing this in an emergency, as the news breaks, saying, hey, how do we do that? You're going to be last in the queue, because everybody else will be, all those people who paid the money regularly and have got the systems in place which just need updating will be ahead of you. And also the costs of getting into it in the first place will be actually probably more expensive, even if you can find the resources to do it. So it's worthwhile considering that.
Definitely, anything you can do to try and get in front of it is going to be better. And making those investments, including things in next year's budget, it's still a fact that the vast majority of attacks start off with phishing. Start there. Look at how we protect our staff from falling victim to phishing attacks, whether it's double checking that we've got MFA on, or whether it's making sure that people understand what a phish looks like, or keeping up to date with what the latest phishing techniques and trends are. Some of these things aren't necessarily expensive in terms of money, but they do take some time commitment from everyone involved. And recognize that everyone in your organization plays a part in maintaining that security posture. It's not just the top of the tree, but it's everybody. It's not just certain areas, it's everybody. It's not just an IT thing, it's a business-wide thing.
Okay, well, that's cheered you all up, hasn't it? End of the month. Thank you very much for all those people who visited the website, threatsafe.co.uk. It'll all still be there, those resources. You're welcome to click on. We do keep a track vaguely of who's been on the website, not to the point of seeing who you are, but we've got some people who've actually been through every single day's resource, and it's nice to see. And we hopefully along the way you've learned a few things. And hopefully you've learned something today as well. Thank you, Toby.
Thank you.
I'll see you or you.
Me or one of my avatars.
Next time.
Yes. So it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
For more cybersecurity resources, visit threatsafe.co.uk. And if you want to see me, the AI Toby version, in action, make sure you watch episode 11 of the Threatsafe podcast on YouTube.
Thank you for listening to Threatsafe. We hope you found it enjoyable and informative. Please reach out with any comments, feedback, questions, and we look forward to seeing you soon.